chivalry is dead. It was a common phrase I heard growing up when I didn't open the door for a damsel, or like a girl. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Damsel in distress. I watched Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It is a show on HBO. I definitely recommend it. And it tells the same legendary tales of the Game of Thrones series, but through the perspective of a very unepic knight. It got me thinking about what chivalry means to us today. What actually really is chivalry? What is the legacy of chivalry today in the modern world? Could it actually benefit me today? I don't really know, but we're gonna find out. I'm going to try and test chivalry, test what it says I should do, and it could be good. Let's charge onward. Dude, I remember. Charge onward. Pellinor at that time followed. Then the king established all his knights, and them that were of lands not rich, he gave them lands. So chivalry is an idea fundamentally born in the romanticized era. We think of Arthur, we think of dragons, and that's kind of all that we know. But in actuality, this book kind of reveals that, or it actually doesn't, what's absent is the origins. I mean, in real life, it's actually born from the Crusades. And I'm a history buff, and I'm going to spare you all that. Basically, the Crusades was a taking up of arms for the Catholic religion that was good intentioned and was good at first, but kind of slowly over time, like war does, was a party of greed and death, wrongful death. The thing about literature is that it's always from the perspective of an idealist, of a softie, and they didn't reveal what chivalry actually was. In actuality, it was kind of a romanticization of a war that took place, killed many people, and war's bad. War's bad. So chivalry is, funny enough, a double-edged sword. It paints a picture of this romanticization that eventually, in real life, actually becomes a roadmap for nobility.
In the late Middle Ages, English knighthood evolved into more of a noble class and came with expectations of refinement and gentility. During the 14th century, knightly education came to include not just combat skills, but also music, dancing, etiquette, and perhaps most important, religion. Knights were expected to protect the weak, to be courteous to their peers, to be gallant to women, and to be models of Christian manhood. All the virtues that we tend to associate with chivalry today. Consequently, Sir Gawain of the King Arthur legends became a prominent literary figure in this time period. In Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, he's presented as the ideal knight, the heart and soul of Arthur's court.
And it lines up with the purpose of something like a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, because a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is about the guy who exposes how nobility is taking advantage. And Sir Duncan is barely a knight. When he first sees the nobility, the people you know of Game of Thrones, the Targaryens, the Starks, he is scared. He's scared because he is definitely not that. And they actually try and cast him out, like he can't participate in the jousting. But actually, what happens is that he has more heart than any of them. In a knightly tale like any other, he exposes the humanity, the blood of these vain creatures. There's some noble person who has to face challenges. They make the wrong decision and bad things happen to them. But ultimately they try but can fail. And the thing about humans, and especially unepic humans, is that we fail more than the greats, than Odysseus, or King Arthur, Merlin. We have to assume that we are the heroes of our story, because there are not heroes in real life. There are only people, flesh and blood.
And proclaim Joffrey as the true heir.
Cersei knows you as a man of honor.
Okay, when I think about morality, I always think about this clip. Just keep watching. This is just a fucking legendary line.
To take the black and live out your days on the wall with your brother and your bastard son.
You think my life is some precious thing to me? That I would trade my honor for a few more years of what? Of war? You grew up with actors. You learned their craft, and you learnt it well. But I grew up with soldiers.
Wow, that is still gives me shivers to this day. Season 1 of Game of Thrones, just epic in just introducing a world that is fucked up. Why I wanted to make this video in the first place was because being viewed as good or knightly has become more of a social status in the world. We vie for influence rather than justice. It's more material than morality could ever be. So chivalry in actuality was practical, but through poets became the fortification a good leader needs in their own hearts. A value system that accounts for all men. And sometimes I spend time in my room while I'm not witnessing the many atrocities happening around the world and think, how could we save our world? Well, something like chivalry possibly can. So that's why I took a short week and tried to be as chivalrous as possible.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so end of the day. Let's see what I did today. I'm going to do a service tomorrow for one of my mom's friends because she's kind and she helped me out. So, for no money. So, this is something that would require money, but don't worry about it because, you know, we all need help every now and then. Oh my god. This is something that annoys me. That annoys me when someone wants to take your equipment at the gym. I hate that. Because, bro, I have this, and, like, I don't know if he knows, and, you know, this guy probably didn't, but, I let him take it. I wouldn't let him take it. I would at least try and bring it up somehow, but, it's not worth it, you know? It's just a freaking bench, so yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So that was something I wouldn't usually do that. Well, I read Matthew 7 and 8, which talks about judgment. Do not judge others, because you don't know what's going to happen to yourself. Classic. And, you know, the golden rule that, don't do what you don't want done to you. That's kind of what I did today, so that's cool. Fresh reminder of that by the person who probably knows the most about that, which is, So yeah, it was a good day. Now I'm going to play Legend of Zelda, and Link, that's the man I want to be. It's the man I want to be. Anyway.
I think it was great that the Bible came into this experiment. It was one of the greatest takeaways that I actually have from it all. I imagine that knights could feel good about a lot of what they did because they believed that good had a source, a divine source. It was not something debatable but mandated by one very great person. So although you can believe in what you may, I gain insight about chivalry from the primary source itself. And I'm going to continue to.
Hello, it is day 2, and I'm here at my mom's apartment. Spent the night because family. I'm watching a Bible study review on Matthew. Again, I'm so fascinated by how the Bible comes into chivalry, which I never really knew, and I think that should be something you think is interesting, because chivalry and the Crusades, as we know, are interlinked. So yeah, let's get on the road. Let's get on the road. Let's actually talk about something else we actually have to put on the lock. It's crazy to admit this, but I will admit this for this challenge. I've stolen things before. I've stolen quite a number of things. And I used to justify it because life was pinching me, you know? And what do I owe to these corporations? These guys are trying to ruin me, and so taking out of their bottom line is, it's not like stealing from a person. I would never steal from a person, by the way. I would never steal from a person. Wouldn't even think about it. That's wrong. That doesn't make sense, because I have something like a camera that is so valuable. If someone took it from me, it would be the end of my days, you know? So when we steal something, we make an exception for ourselves, because not everybody can steal. If everybody stole, we would be fucked. So I need to stop doing that, and I will stop doing that, and I have stopped doing that. So I was at Walmart, I guess 2 days ago, but even before this challenge, and I got tempted by collectibles. I love the small little pops, and I could have stolen all of them, but what of it? It would make me feel bad, and they're just collectibles. All these things are so stupid. They're not even pivotal to life. So I'm done stealing. It doesn't make sense to do these things. It doesn't make sense. And if you have principles, you get there. I hope you don't see me differently. It was bad. It was a bad thing. But I'll stop. So heed my words. Heed my words. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's actually get out of here, okay?
Boys, stop gaping. See to my horse.
I'm not a stable boy, my lord.
Not clever enough.
Alright, hey guys. Sorry. Oh. Yo. Okay. Hey guys, sorry I didn't give you an update. It's 3 a.m. right now, but finally went to sleep. Today wasn't a bad day.
Okay, I have to butt in here. It actually was kind of a bad day.
I did the dishes.
I didn't have anything to do, and I chose what was immediately right in front of me, which was watching meaningless content in my bed for hours. This is always where I see some kind of struggle. Temptation is a part of every knight's journey and every person's journey, and historically it has been hard for me to resist. So it consists of essentially watching people have fun instead of doing it yourself. I don't know why I like this. I think it releases the dopamine you need to like feel good in a day. Social media can be so bad, or a dating show. Yeah, while being moveless in my bed. Sounds great, right? But and that's kind of what morality is, you know. Morality can be the hard decision sometimes, in the short term, but in the long term, it has gains that are seriously just the ultimate reward. And applying that to even something as little as social media, that was kind of a really great insight. So okay, on to the final day.
Whether or not the man ever lived, loved, reigned, or adventured, it's undeniable that the character has achieved immortality.
Alright, day 4 of the challenge. It is a nice day here in the University of Arizona campus, and not much to do today, basically just doing classes, but one thing I think about a lot, which is important, is social interaction. And is it a moral act to actually talk to someone? And in a world where I think we are less and less connected in the real world, I think it is something to actually think about. It's something I feel like they didn't think about back in the ancient times. But talking to someone is, I think, an important way of recognizing they're here. And I think that's something kind of removed from the generation. So talk to people. Talk and recognize, just even recognizing that they're there. God damn. That's great. Because the opposite is, you know the feeling. It's kind of terrible. And then also right conduct. I mean, right conduct is kind of how we've always thought about chivalry, especially with the masculine and feminine thing. But yeah, just being nice. But we've talked about that before. But yeah, talk to people, motherfucker. Yeah. And I've been opening hella doors today, so I've been getting that in. So probably like 3 doors. Holy hell. Am I nightly? Damn. Yeah, damn. Alright. Let's go to class. I'm late. Maybe that's a bad as we come close to this challenge, I've been thinking about a lot of things, and I've been thinking about how good this challenge actually was. How life can be very unfilled with interaction nowadays, and I pride myself in making those good. Then let's talk about general kindness. Well, kindness is very important to life, and I believe it is a force that we must practice. I believe in justice. I thought about fixing the things that I do that are unjust, and they're small things. They're small things that go under the radar, but they are things that don't make sense.
In the name of the warrior, I charge you to be brave.
All men are fools, and all men are knights. Knights. Knighthood. That was a thing, an old social system.
In the name of the Father, I charge you to be just.
Back in the day, where knights were mostly lords, but arbiters of honor and respect and justice, and that's why I think people like them. They are a symbol.
In the name of the Mother, I charge you to protect the young and innocent.
The story of a knight which has nobility but doesn't have the honor and the respect. That's what we see in the Game of Thrones series. So, I think that's really awesome. Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I really like doing this stuff, and it feels good to know that people are watching it. So thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to improve and do some new things, and try and make something that people can gain something from. So again, thank you, and we're building something here. I really think that. So thank you, and love you guys, really, and appreciate it.